What if I told you that a 700 credit score doesn't mean that you qualify? Because I've seen 720s get denied. I've seen 730s get denied. Heck, I've seen 800 credit scores get denied, and typically that person has no idea why. Now today, I'm going to show you why that happens. And more importantly, I'm going to tell you what it is that the banks actually care more about than just your score. Because most people think that the credit score is the power, but the reality is that it's not. The credit score is literally just a summary. The credit score is not something that banks typically just lend based on. They don't really lend based on a summary. They lend based on a risk structure. So one question I want to just straight ask you this, okay? Why do you think someone with a 680 credit score gets approved while a 720 gets denied? We're going to let that sit for a second because that's the point behind this video. We're going to answer that question to properly position you guys to be able to reach financial freedom. If you're brand new, remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tap into the channel. All right. Number 2, everything we talk about is educational only, not legal advice, not financial advice. Remember to do your due diligence. Okay. We're going to do something a little bit different. My goal is to get real tactical and give y'all the exact points on how you're going to move forward. So thank y'all for watching. Let's dive into another one. But let me just go ahead and give you something practical, because underwriters don't just look at your score first. They look at your profile. And that means that they're looking at your utilization. That means that they're looking at your income. They are looking at your debt to income. They're looking at the length of your accounts, the stability, the relationships between you and the banks. The score is more of a surface metric. You get what I'm saying? When you look at your credit score to just get an idea of, okay, whether you have more structuring to do or whether you don't, you know? But you have to inherently go in there and truly see the structure in order to move forward. Now, one of the places that I want to start is, let's just think score doesn't equal approval. Okay. Your score doesn't equal an approval. All right. This is the key. This is the first mindset shift that you want to be able to understand. Okay. Because it's not the score that gets people denied. Okay. Now let's talk about what really gets people denied. Let's talk about why a 700 credit score fails, because a 700 credit score could still mean that you have a 80% utilization. It could mean that you have a thin file, meaning that over the last, you just got a credit score, right? Some people have a 700 credit score, but they have negative items. I mean, not negative items, but they have only a couple months of history. When you're looking at a banking institution, or when you're looking at a company that is attempting to do business with you, if anything, that is especially when they first see you, that is the only reputation that they have of you. Okay. So yes, you can have a thin file. You can have an 80% utilization with a 700 credit score. You can have up to 5 recent inquiries on your credit report and still have a 700 credit score. Okay. You can have a 40K income but have $30,000 in debt. You can only have $1,000 of total available credit. And do you see how these things are not necessarily strong positioning? You could have $1,000 worth of credit, high utilization, and still have a 700 credit score, but it looks fragile in the eyes of the banks. Even for people that have good credit scores, if your file looks thin, or even if you're not taking care of what you do have in the essence of keeping those balances low, then the bank is going to look at you as a risky person. And this is what it gets a 700 credit score person denied versus somebody who has a 680 credit score and may have a better file. Okay. So here's the question I want you to think. If you only have 2,000 in total credit, why would a bank trust you with 40,000? Go ahead and drop it down in the comment section what you think about that. All right. Because at some point we have to think like adults. The kid came to you that has never dealt with money before, asked you for money, let's just say $100, and they said they would pay you back. You would simply move with discernment. You're going to try to figure out, yeah, have you ever made $100 before, kid? No. So how do I know you're going to pay me back? Well, someone will say, well, we're sovereign and we're supposed to get money for free. Go watch my video from yesterday to truly understand how to be sovereign. Okay. None of the mystical BS that they want people to believe. Okay. But if you're thinking like someone who lends a kid money, if that kid has ever made $100 or had a job where he made $100 per check, yeah, I would be more inclined to loan him $100 given the fact that he has made $100. Or even if I gave him money before, or someone else can attest for him taking care of that money, then yes, absolutely, I would give him the money. So this is how you gotta think. You gotta think like the lender. You gotta think as if you were loaning somebody money. What would you expect from them? All right. We could argue the economic truth, but let's just be real for a second. Even if we argue the economic truth, no matter what, this is what the elaborate mechanism of credit scoring has created. And someone says that may be unfair, but given the fact that there is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, given the fact that there is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, given the fact that you can challenge any and all negative items on your credit report, is actually equal opportunity for people to remove negative items off their credit report, to be able to position and manipulate what their credit report looks like so that they can get the score that not only matches the approval, but also gives them strong positioning. The idea behind actually getting approved is having strong positioning, not having a strong score, to be able to look lendable versus risky. Okay. Now let me go ahead and say something that might make you a little bit uncomfortable. All right. You don't have a credit problem. You have a positioning problem. The bank isn't rejecting you emotionally. They are just rejecting your capacity to be able to manage the money that you are asking for. It's not personal. Okay. It's just mathematical. And when you are looking at a machine, all right, that only moves based off of arithmetic, an algorithm, it only feeds off of input and output. So if you put input a 700 credit score but has high utilization, if you know that having a 20% utilization will better your chances and give you a higher rate, you need to focus on that, then focus on what is the unfairness, right? Did you know that when you actually get denied, they send you an adverse action letter and let you know what led you to not get approved? Some people will argue that they had no reason to deny you given the fact that you extended credit to them according to modern money mechanics and promissory notes and what we understand about negotiable instruments. However, I forgot my point. My point was just the fact that it's all mathematical. All right. That was my point. If you could fight them and go to court or whether or not they should economically denied you for credit that you extended yourself, or you could focus on what it is that denied you. And if it is just changing my positioning or challenging information on my report, that is much easier than trying to prove why they should have loaned you money that they feel like you was a risky borrower. The judge will eat you alive. Okay. So just to tell you a personal story, I had someone come in with a 718 credit score. It looked good. And to be honest, they thought they was going to get approved everywhere. But their debt to income ratio was about 50%. They were maxed out on 2 credit cards. They pulled out a recent auto loan, and they've had 3 inquiries in the last 30 days. And guess what? They got denied. And the person, and this is the other thing that people struggle with too. Oh, I have good credit. Oh, let me go to somebody and they may be able to help me get to some department that's going to give me, funding, and yeah, there are relationships like that. But typically what we're going to tell you to do is focus on what got you denied. All right. So you can have a good credit score, but we have to look at the contents on your credit reports. All right. If you were lending to yourself, would you lend to you? The amount of money that you're asking for. Okay. Think of how much money you actually have in your bank account and maybe throw an extra 10,000 on it. You know what I mean? That's what you can get based off of what's in your bank account. Okay. But the idea is, when you look lendable, you're not going to get denied because of your score. It's going to be based off that structure, the capacity, and what your credit report looks like, because it tells a story. All right. Now, if we go back to my ghetto whiteboard, see if I can clear this out. All right, bet. So we got these two columns. I don't know what this is, but I'm about to just go ahead and delete these. I'm just using a template real quick just to show y'all. Don't worry about all this extra rigmarole at the top. Okay? Delete that. All right. So boom, let's just say we start out 700. We got a 700 credit score, and then we got a 680. Okay? We could probably make that 700 better. But when you go down, this 700 can have a high utilization, right? High debt to income ratio, a thin file, okay? And then increase, all right? Versus somebody who has literally the exact opposite. Low utilization, low DTI, low, all right? Sorry, this is a trash example, but let's just say as low DTI, a long history, okay? I'm sure you won't. This looks terrible. And then a stable income, all right? 700, yeah, the score is good, but, you know, they not managing what they got. And then we talk about this 680, manages their money, keep their utilization low, has long history, and is stable income. I want you to ask yourself, which one looks safer? Like, let's just forget the economic truth. Let's just forget about all the conspiracies and the theories. Let's just focus on just the reality. And like, this is things that we know, and we have to get back to this right here. For people that actually want to move forward financially, this is for you. All right. Not for the conspiracy theorists that, you know, want to feel emotional about it, but people who actually want to get to a 700, you know, or 680 credit score to get funding to invest in themselves. So back to the question that I told you guys earlier, there is something banks care about more than your score, and it is your capacity. Okay? Capacity to repay, capacity to absorb risk, capacity to manage leverage. Your score is what reflects the history. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Why do banks give higher limits to people who don't need money? Well, it's simply because they show capacity. It's like the law of attraction. Capacity lowers the risk. If you can take care of what you got, then more than likely it'll be lent to you. That's just the plain and simple reality. So now let's just go ahead and get tactical. If you want approval power, meaning you want to be fund yourself, you want to be lendable, number one, you have to lower your utilization below 10 and 20%. Number two, you need to increase your total available credit gradually. Yes, you can credit stack, but I did a video on getting your first 40,000, making good on that, and then you can be able to get to 250K, right? Having funding seasons. Number three, let your accounts age. When you first open an account, do not apply for multiple accounts until you have allowed those accounts to season, maybe 3 to 6 months. This is why I tell people with credit to have long-term thinking. Don't have short-term thinking. Thinking that you're going to get a 700 credit score and get 150K credit literally that day is just like asking for a miracle, especially if you've never had it before. Number four, reduce your debt to income ratio before applying. If you have debt, this is why we talk about debt on this channel, you either need to settle, negotiate, or pay your debt off, down, or lower than 10%. Okay. Number five, space out your increase. What I mean by space out your increase, meaning that, you know, make sure you are applying for banks for different bureaus. You know, and when you do your application, do your funding in seasons. Don't apply all, you know, try to get as much as you can every single month. All right. And then build relationship accounts. Open up a Chase, open up some credit unions, right? And build a relationship with them so that you can be able to, they're going to give you more solutions, like business solutions. They're going to give you things that's going to, you know, more accounts, more credit offers, credit line increases, and things in that nature. So if I draw a triangle, okay, that's actually a really good triangle. I hope I spelled that right. But your capacity, okay, this is the score. Think of the score, DTI, and then your utilization. This is a trash diagram, y'all. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Talk trash about me in the comment section. But this right here is going to determine where your approval is going to come from. Your approval lives in understanding this right here. In order for you to be sovereign, in order for you to access unlimited money, you have to understand this here. This is what they are focused on. So I want to bring it back to the bigger arc, because understanding underwriting isn't rejecting the system, okay? Because there's a lot of people that want to be sovereign and this, that, and the third, and think that if you understand underwriting or understand credit scoring or actually try to just play to their game, that you are you inherently are a Trump follower or Trump supporter or whatever the case may be, or you want to be a part of the system. But it's very different than that, okay? Because if you understand what you are in, specifically what they need in underwriting in order to approve you, it isn't rejecting the system. It's actually learning how it works. And real sovereignty isn't screaming about contracts and how unfair something is. It's really about qualifying for them, okay? Real power isn't saying I don't need banks. It's knowing you can walk into one and can be approved. That is having options. So if you've ever been denied with a 700 credit score, comment the word denied down below. I want to see how common this actually is. All right. Now, let's go ahead and close this out. A 700 score isn't sovereignty. Qualification is understanding your risk factor, qualifying with structure. Okay. Even when you look at a 700 credit score and a 680 credit score, I've seen people with those type of numbers, and the person with 680 has hundreds of thousands in credit and hundreds of thousands in funding, and the 700 is still trying to figure it out. So if you're serious about structuring yourself properly and really positioning yourself to have full capacity, to become lendable, to be able to fund yourself, tap into the channel, tap into the Fund Yourself Academy. And then I'm also doing an event in Tampa called the Brand Social. The link is in the description. Thank y'all for watching the video. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.